Good morning, everyone. This week we have the incredible privilege to be able to begin the fifth Chumash of the Torah, the Chumash of Devorim. We begin with Devorim. But this Shabbos is also unique in a different way, and that the temples, as we read about in the Haftorah. And of course, we know that this coming Motzei Shabbos, this coming Saturday night and Sunday, we begin the fast of Tisha B'Av. But of so many other catastrophes and tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people over the last 2,000 years. It's the day that we mourn, it's the day that we reflect, it's the day we introspect, and it's the day we think about how to continue building and going forward. And Parshas Devorim is always read on the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av. And there's a variety of reasons for that. On the most basic level, in the desert. Although Moshe Rabbeinu was dealing with the new generation, the younger generation, for everyone else died out in the desert, but Moshe Rabbeinu is giving them not just simply a history lesson, but teaching them about the successes and the failures of the past so that they can build on that as they begin to go ahead and plot their journey for the future. And one of the things that Moshe Rabbeinu focuses on in this week's Parsha, one of the dramatic episodes that he reviews, is the sin of the spies, the Chet HaMeraglim. It at first sounds like a good idea. A group of men come to Moshe Rabbeinu and they say, listen, we're about to go into the land of Israel. Send us in on a reconnaissance mission. Send us in to scout out the land, to see the best way in, to figure out the natural resources, get a little bit of a better understanding as to who our enemies are, and that we could be better prepared for the campaign to conquer the land. And as Moshe Rabbeinu says in this week's Parsha, Vayitav hadavar be'einai, Moshe Rabbeinu thought Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you all kinds of assurances, but if this is what you feel you need, then ultimately again go. And we know the story. And the entire episode unravels so quickly. The spies misunderstand so much of what they saw in the land of Israel. The spies had other agendas, other ulterior motives. They come back, they deliver a disastrous report about the land to the people, and the people cry. The people break down. The people turn on Moshe, they turn on God, and launch into the narrative, which comes up, surfaces every once in a while in the desert. Lama ha'elisanu. Why did you take us out of Egypt? To kill us in the desert? You promised us the land, but the inhabitants are too strong. The land is too difficult. We're too weak. All the different things, and they collapse. There's essentially a national by this turning of the tide. Yoshua and Kalev, two of the spies who sided with Moshe, and the Ribbon Shalom God is incensed, and he punishes the people. The desert. Those who lamented going into the land of Israel would never enter into the land of Israel. They would die in the deserts, and their children ultimately again would be the nation who would go in, conquer, and settle the land. And the Talmud makes an amazing statement. The Talmud says, when did the spies come back? When did they deliver their disastrous report? All of this occurred on the 9th of Av. All of this occurred on Tisha B'Av. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you cried for no reason. Unfortunately, this day will become a day of crying, but for legitimate reasons. You cried for illegitimate purposes. There'll be legitimate purposes to cry and to mourn each and every year on this particular date. And it was the sin of the spies that created the mournful and tragic identity of the 9th of Av, an identity that unfortunately has been perpetuated through further tragedies, further setbacks throughout the years. And so we read this contains the story, which is the beginning of the downward spiral that we experience each and every year on this day. It was the beginning of the story of so many other tragedies. But I think that there's a simpler lesson to be learned. What do we learn from the sin of the spies? Of course, again, we learn about the power of slander, negative speech. If it's true about a land, it's certainly true about how we speak about one another. But I think there's a deeper lesson. You see, my friends, the spies, I have to believe, did not have intention to derail the national trajectory of the Jewish people. Their intention was not to go ahead and harm us for future generations. They had their motives, whatever their motivations were. But I believe that they assumed that the fallout of their actions would be relatively contained. They figured, so if we don't go into the land of Israel, not a problem. We'll go ahead, we'll live in the desert. We have mun, we have water, we have divine dry cleaning, a cloud, a fire, all is good, all is good. All is good. It's a beautiful, beautiful existence. Okay, we thought we're going into Eretz Yisrael. Plan B. The desert is a perfect plan B. Perfect plan B. I don't believe that ever in a million years did they contemplate the ripple effect and the future fallout of their actions. And I think this is a lesson. That there are so many times in life that we do things, that we act in certain ways, without thinking about the future repercussions of what we're doing. Sometimes we say something to someone. Maybe it's in the heat of the moment. I'm angry, I'm upset, or maybe I'm just think I'm making a joke. And I don't contemplate the repercussions that my statement will have on that person going forward. I don't contemplate the repercussions that that little word, that statement, that joke will have on my relationship with that person in the years going forward. You know, sometimes you say something in the heat of the moment, and you don't even realize the realities that it creates in its wake. One word, one statement, one abrasive remark, one joke could have ripple effects that are felt for so long afterwards. In life, we make decisions. We make decisions about the kind of people we are. We make daily decisions about how we're going to spend our time. We make decisions about the careers we're going to have, about the people we're going to marry. We make decisions about the influences we're going to allow in our homes. We make decisions about the type of recreation we engage in. We make decisions about the type of friends we keep and the type of influences we allow ourselves to be exposed to. And sometimes we don't think about the future repercussions of those decisions. There is no decision which is made in a vacuum. There is no course of action whose implications could be contained to the here and now. Kind of like throwing the rock against the water. There's a ripple effect that continues long after you can see it. Every single thing we do in life has that ripple effect. Every single thing we do in life, every decision we make has ramifications even long after we have forgotten we even made the decision. So we must be sensitive to the decisions we make in life, to the things we say in life, to the things we do in life, because the fallout, the repercussions and ramifications are felt for a very long time afterwards. To this very day, we feel the repercussions and ramifications of the actions of the spies, the actions of the Meraglim. Never in a million years do I believe they wanted to do anything negative which would influence us to this day, but they did. We must learn from their mistakes. We must learn to have the sensitivities that they did not possess. We must learn to measure and to decide wisely in all areas of life, for we know not what the implications of our decisions may be. When we learn from their mistakes, to live better and to make our life decisions in a more attentive fashion. I wish each of you a beautiful and meaningful, uplifting Shabbos. And I wish each of you a meaningful fast of the 9th of Av. May we be privileged on this fast to feel the pain of our people, because feeling the pain of our people is also a way we connect. It's beautiful to share in smachot, beautiful to share in joyous occasions, but it's equally as important to share in the burden of our collective pain, suffering, and sadness. May we be privileged to share that burden together. And in that merit, may we be privileged one day, God willing, speedily in our days, to welcome the Messiah, to welcome the Melech HaMashiach, to usher in a period of incredible redemption, and to spend our future 9ths of Av and all the rest of our days together